Hi listeners, Ram Big Thighs here. What's that? You've never heard my voice before? Well, you could hear plenty more from me and my friends if you subscribe to the Goblins and Growlers Patreon at patreon.com/goblinsgrowlers.
Describe the greatest ham experience.
Just the audio blanks out, and it's like somebody with a voiceover is just like, insert greatest ham experience of your life.
I like the idea of you describe it, but like the audio begins to like fuzz out like TV static because it's eldritch, and if someone hears the description of the perfect ham experience, it's like seeing Cthulhu. They'll never be able to process the information well again, and they will go mad with the knowledge.
This is Quid Pro Roll, a fantasy live play adventure where a party of unlikely heroes embark on a quest to bring dragons back to their world.
Well, howdy, listeners. Welcome to the Daily Crier Listening Show, where all the news and variant and beyond can make its way, well, right to you. Well, an awful lot is going down. Johannes is kidnapped, seemingly as insurance for Charles to meet Michael alone the following night. 2 dragon priests, Michael included, know the party is Infanturian. Now there's no telling how long that will stay at just 2. Alyssa has been defeated, which is a good thing overall, but I'd reckon the Emperor will be turning up the heat as any tyrant would when their assets start dwindling. And circling back, the party is still no closer to getting into the palace and stealing that crown. Especially considering the rendezvous with the ambassador went about as sideways as a root-rotten tree right after a summer storm. There's a knot in my stomach with all this anxiety, which is a real shame because I just baked a lemon lavender loaf and it's likely just cooled down. Well, let's get into it. Keep your hats on, because it's getting cold in the Boris Empire. Winter is coming. And as always, y'all take care now.
The sun cuts through the windows in all of your respective rooms, and some of you decidedly slept better than others. The idea that Johannes has been taken captive is weighing really heavily on your minds. There's a sort of somber energy amongst the group. We're going to start with you, Solinar. Where are you at?
I think Solinar did not sleep well at all. And so he is getting up late, kind of groggy, looking sleepy, kind of disheveled, stumbles his way downstairs, and it's like, I'm gonna, once I get some food in me and maybe something to drink, I'll wake up. It'll be fine.
You can see that the breakfast for the morning has been set out. It looks like some kind of hot oat porridge filled with dried fruit. A couple of hot coffee options. Everything's very warm and cinnamony. It's comforting in a very soulful sort of way.
Yeah, Solinar is just going to savor all of that.
Alita's going to come down smelling weirdly strongly of incense and is going to kind of slurp over the table, and Felix is going to go fetch her a piece of fruit and sort of like awkwardly waddle it over to her with his tiny pseudo-dragon legs. Bo, what are you doing?
Bo gets up, does some like where you get up and you sit up and then you turn and you're sort of sitting on the bed with your feet down for a second, just sort of not meditating, but just thinking about the day and preparing for the day. He stands up. He walks over to the window, takes a look out. What's the view from his room?
The day is pretty gray. It looks like it might snow.
So I'm guessing it's pretty cold outside.
It's pretty cold.
Are the windows to this place, are they like open windows? Are they paned? What are they?
They're not paned. They're going to be those kind of open windows that if the shutters are open, so too is the window itself.
So I'm cold.
Yeah, you're cold.
Okay. All right. Well, Boat goes ahead and gets dressed. He packs up his stuff in his bag and just leaves that sort of in the corner of the room and heads downstairs to try and grab some breakfast, try and get sort of situated for the day and be ready for what may come.
As you go down, you see Solinar and Alita sitting at the table. Solinar kind of like schlumped over his porridge, eating it with the grace of somebody who did not get any sleep. And Alita is sort of face down on the table with Felix trying to smush a piece of fruit under her arm and like towards her face.
Is she face down on the table because she's like eating like Garfield or something?
No, she's just had a very long night.
All right.
As I said earlier, you can smell incense on her.
Mm-hmm. Boat walks over to Solinar. He's like, "Hey, why are you looking like such a stumblebum this morning?"
Oh, I was just thinking about, you got the Johannes situation to sort out, and then we gotta get ourselves into the palace, and I don't know, man, like, I was thinking a lot about, like, what do we do if plan A goes wrong? What do we do if plan B goes wrong? Like, what is plan C? What is plan D? How do we pivot? We're so deep in enemy territory right now.
One thing at a time. Like, we'll get Johannes back, and then you can make some plans after that. Just one thing at a time.
Do you have an idea on how you're going to get Groot back up with us after you get Johannes back?
Boat, as Alita's talking, Boat sort of sniffs the air. He's like, "You having a little bit of fun last night, Alita? What's that?"
What? She like sniffs at her clothes. Oh, that?
Yeah.
Okay, thing number one, what do you think I was doing? Because the implication that incense is fun is one I'm not familiar with.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I believe that you were acting with only the highest amount of moral rectitude.
Alita's gonna kind of like try and fan her clothes a little bit to try and get the smoke out of them.
That's just making it worse.
No,
You smell like somebody I should be buying crystals from.
Hey, I resemble that remark. So, I was trying to commune with the dragon priestess spirits like we would do sometimes when we would talk to them through the mirror pendant. I was trying to do like a bigger version of that and see if maybe I could trigger a vision to see how this is all gonna go.
Were you successful at all?
Kind of, but I didn't. I know we're going to get into the palace.
Okay.
Well, that's good news.
And run into the Emperor's sister. And that's the beginning and end of what I was able to get out of the vision.
Is there a name for the Emperor's sibling? Is there like a term for that?
Princess?
Oh, I didn't know if it was like a special term or something like that. Like Siblerer or something like that.
Siblerer! No, it's Princess Ophelia.
Okay. All right. Okay, well I'm gonna have some breakfast here. Is this a spread basically? The dried fruit and oatmeal?
Yes. And the coffee. There is coffee.
All right.
Boat. Empresses.
Empresses. That sounds like a really big cyst.
Ugh.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
That one's not good.
Yeah. All
So
right.
we have all this time to prepare for running up on the palace.
Boat holds up his hand in sort of a vaguely talk to the hand motion. He's like, we all had a really emotional day yesterday. Let's just enjoy our breakfast before we get to the business of the day.
What would you rather talk about?
I just want to enjoy my coffee and have sort of some nice warm oatmeal on this really cold gray day. Just get myself sort of amped up for it.
Boat, are you just telling me you want me to shut up?
I did not say that.
She looks over at Solinar.
Solinar kind of like looks at Boat, looks at Alita, and then just kind of like shrugs. And he goes, well, so Alyssa was the person who was doing all of the slave running, it turns out. And between Locke, Koza, and I, we not only brought down her whole empire, but we got to carry her off and give her to Nell's group. And now, like, the Nell's Angels are going to use the information they get from her to prevent further such activity.
And terror limb from limb?
Well, I don't know about all that.
Well, that's one empire down and just one more to go.
Well, we're not
Halfway
trying
there.
to fell the entire Barosian Empire.
It couldn't hurt, though.
You don't think that toppling the government of a whole nation isn't going to cause problems?
Hey, whoa, let's cool it on the oppling tay the government gay talk in the tavern main room.
Hey.
This.
Boat's
Okay.
just, he's back to enjoying his coffee and having some oatmeal. Desperately seeking ham.
Desperately seeking ham.
That would be the subtitle of Boat's short film about this particular moment in history.
I would have
Now's
said
the-
that was your autobiography, Desperately Seeking Ham.
Now's the time, Brandon. Your scroll of ham scrying can finally come to fruition.
Didn't I use that once already?
It's still in your inventory.
Well, I guess that means I can use it. But it's like, you know what? There's no time like the present. And he pulls out the scroll of ham scrying, which he keeps in his wallet.
It's not a scroll so much as like a folded up piece of paper torn out of a notebook.
It's like, pulls it out. It's like packed in there like a George Costanza wallet or something like that.
I really like the idea of like marketing being like the product like coupons, where you would have like they would imbue it with just enough magic where you could scry a sample. They're like the sample scrying.
Ah, summer sausage, score!
Yeah.
It's written in pork Latin.
Ha!
You're so pleased with yourself, it's disgusting.
I get my coupons kosher.
Yeah. The ham scrying coupon says break glaze in case of emergency.
So you unfurl the scroll of ham scrying and pass your hand over it, causing it to begin glowing with this soft pink light, and you can smell this scent of fat and brown sugar and sizzling pork perfume sort of emanating from the scroll.
I like when you described the light, I was like, ham light.
It is if ham was a light, the light of the scroll of ham scrying.
I imagine the smell cloud of this is fighting with the smell cloud coming off of Alita.
So, what is going to happen here is that the scent is going to come out of the paper in sort of a visible smoke cloud, form into a hand, and begin beckoning Boat.
Am I gonna start floating on the scent like a Tex Avery cartoon?
Yes. If you are so inclined to allow the scroll of ham scrying to take you.
Yeah, I will surrender to the scroll of ham scrying.
You surrender to the ham, and it begins
Talk to the ham.
and it begins beckoning you, the smell opening the door for you and carrying you out onto the early morning streets of Venturian. You're going to delicately float through a couple of alleyways, a couple of roads, and you're going to find yourself in front of this beautiful, quaint old, what appears to be some kind of combination of a butcher and a delicatessen.
It's owned by Yum Brands. It's like a KFC Taco Bell or something.
More like KBH, Kentucky Baked Ham.
Comrade Boris Ham. The K is backwards.
So
I think the KBH sounds like something they would send after you if you didn't give enough ham.
Yeah, if you flunk out of the KGB, they send you to the KBH.
The KBH.
So you look in, and the window has several enormous hunks of beautifully smoked glazed meat hanging in the window.
So am I still floating?
You're gently lowered to your feet in front of this butcher-catessen.
Okay. A Delcher.
Yeah, you can see why I did the other one.
A butcher-catessen. Well, I would expect to find that. I will walk in, and is there a proprietor of the butcher-catessen?
There is. So, point of order. Solinar, are you following Boat? As he floats away on a cloud of ham scent.
I feel like Solinar sees Boat looking around, trying to find something, deciding that thing isn't there, pulling out the scroll, activating the scroll, and floating away on a cloud of ham scent, and is like, that man's on a mission. A mission that shouldn't be interrupted.
So
I guess he didn't want porridge and fruit.
So we're just gonna let him literally float closed-eyed into the open streets of an enemy nation?
You've got to trust the magic.
I mean, I'm not saying it's the best plan, but I don't think the scroll of ham scrying would lead him astray.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this dumb spell.
I feel like as it's being cast, there's probably a little jingle that happens where it's like, I don't know, sizzle, 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 we'll carry you to the fizzle. Ham is where it is. But then while you're through the streets, it's using like just whatever it is, 14 seconds and no more of like the we'll all float on, all right, gets heavy, we'll all float on.
This is the
With
well-known
people in like watercolor around him as they like the color
the
fades
well-known
out.
band Modest Moose.
Yeah.
All right. So we've established that Solinar decided not to hamper my path. As I
Welcome to the
floated
ham
away.
episode, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to open the door, and it is going to jingle with a friendly little bell. And you are...
I want it to just go. I want the bell to just be like, ham.
It's not a foghorn.
I like the idea that it's a specific method of greasing the hinges. It's not that there's like a bell that jingles the word ham. It's like the way the door opens. It's like, ham. Yeah.
Oh, like it's a talking slide whistle.
So there's...
And a little bit of salt falls from the ceiling.
There was this video on the internet app of destroying all your privacy. And it was a video of a door getting like opening and then hitting the doorstop, and then it wobbled in such a way that it sounded like evil witch laughter. And I like the idea of it being like ham. Like that's how the door wobbles.
Yeah. Before the butcher-catessen moved in here, it was a spirit Halloween, and they had one of those leftover motion sensor monsters that laughs. And they just reprogrammed it to say ham.
They had one of the leftover jigsaw pig masks and just put it on.
Ham. Wipe out.
Oh, God. So you're going to step into this room, and it is going to smell like old dry wood and brown sugar and bourbon and honey and smoke and meat and rendering fat. And it smells very, very, very heavy, and it goes to your head a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it smells like you are in the place that you want to be. You can see that there is a large counter that is laid out with not just one, not just two, but 5 different types of ham, and then several other cured smoked varieties of meat laid out. I don't like that this is immediately what came to mind, but have you ever been to an ice cream place? And they have all of the bins of the different flavors for you to scoop out. Now imagine that that's just meat.
So you're saying they've got flavored ham bins?
They've got...
That you just look through the glass at and you point to and you're like, hey, can I get a sample? And then they give you like a little ham on a tiny spoon. And then you're like, okay,
this is
I'll take
Baskin ham bins, 41
I'll take that
flavors.
one, but can you just like, can you put like whipped cream and will you char it? And I'll take a cherry on top of my ham, please.
Yeah, so what they do here is that they just give you like a big bowl and they weigh it at the end, and that's how much you pay. But they just give you like a scoop of meat and fixins in the bowl.
Can I get a ham nana split, please?
A ham nana split, also known as
ham nana spit.
Ham nana split, just known as the quickest way to kill Alex.
Mm-hmm.
It's pure Alex poison.
That's actually that's the name that's on the board. It's Alex Poison.
As Boat walks through the ham door into the ham shop, he raises his hand his hammed in a greeting to the proprietor, and he says, "Hail, ham master."
So, the gentleman that turns is wearing like kind of grease-stained clothes. His sleeves are rolled up to his elbows, and he's got this big leather apron that is just plastered in what looks for a moment like blood, but as you look closer, appears to be several varieties of barbecued sauce. He's an older gentleman, probably in his 60s, like not old, but definitely on the older side. He's got kind of this like salt and pepper hair thing going on, and he's wiping his hands on an absolutely destroyed rag as he turns to you. He gives this like feeling of being this like tough, wiry dude, but also somebody who comes off as kind of sweet.
Mm-hmm. Like his favorite Southern barbecue sauce.
Like his favorite Southern barbecue.
No, the Boris Empire probably uses Carolina barbecue.
You say that with the expression you always give when you're ready for a fight.
Yeah.
Every time your eyebrows go up like that, it's because you are expecting someone to argue with you.
Yeah. Well, Carolina barbecue is awful, so nobody better argue with me on
Oh,
that.
okay. We are drawing a line in the sand on the barbecue.
Yeah. Hey there, Swinesmith. Can you recommend to me your best ham?
My best ham, you say?
Your best ham.
Well, I have several wonderful varieties of ham, but are you asking for the Swine King?
Possibly. If somebody were having a last meal, which ham would you recommend for that?
He nods solemnly and then turns away from Baskin ham bins, 41 flavors of meat, and turns back to what appears to be kind of like an upper mounted cupboard that seems to be over the smoker. He opens it and you see a single silver dish that he slowly pulls out with sort of this reverent air. You can see almost a holy glow emit from it as he turns and sets it on the counter. And you see a silver dish filled with ham that is so visibly just juicy and succulent and perfect There is this beautiful kind of crisp glaze over everything, almost like the skin of like really well done duck. There is just this perfect balance of salt, fat, and acid that has come together to make this absolutely beautiful, succulent, kingly experience of ham.
Boat just is looking at the ham. If there was like a camera angle from the other side of the plate, it would be like up toward him, like in Pulp Fiction when they open the briefcase and the light shines.
Yes.
Yeah. Boat's doing sort of almost an exaggerated Simpsons-esque kind of ooh. I don't want to ask what the price is because that'd be really gauche asking.
If you have to ask, you cannot afford this ham.
Yeah. Say, friend, is this an expensive ham? Would I have to go into hock for it?
He looks down at the ham and then looks up at you and makes a solemn nod of understanding. I have been perfecting this piece of meat for years now.
It was meant to be for my son on his wedding day, but tragically he passed. I kept preparing it in the cupboard and one day hoping that a new son would present themselves. Someone who had the respect for ham that someone descended from a hand master who went to ham trade school and graduated top of his ham class with glutes.
Yeah. Well, it's probably time to share this with the world because you don't want to hog it.
Oh, you eat this, you son of a...
Come on. And then we do the predator handshake.
Big, beefy arms, slick with oil, are extended towards you to clasp.
Slick with ham.
Mm-hmm. Ham juices. They're juiced up. He's like, I'm juicing. How do you think I get all these pigs hung from the ceiling? Look, the point is that this was originally for my son, and somebody needed to come in and say the 3 words that any ham master wants to hear.
Sell me ham.
That's it. Ding, ding, ding. Here's your ham. And you know what? Today I'm feeling particularly generous. The price is on me. You need this ham more than I do. I can tell.
I like how Alana's just hijacked this NPC.
You know what? That's fine. His character is being kidnapped. I'm fine with him being the ham lord.
Yeah, This NPC is a new pork character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you need it more than I do.
What? I don't know. I mean, I'm happy to take it, but I feel like I owe you something for this if it's as good as you say.
Well, you take one bite and then you decide what you want to do to pay me back. But otherwise, just know that this ham is a gift. And the best gift that you can give is to pass on from yourself a gift that you can to, I don't know, maybe your son, since I lost mine.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of you have to take a bite and then tell him what you're willing to pay.
Yeah. All right. Boat's gonna take a bite of this ham.
The flavor is a savory, salty. There's a hint of sweetness to it as your teeth crack through an outer crust of glaze, which appears to be both brown sugar and honey. There's a slight spiciness to it, possibly wood smoke. No, there's a brine in here as well. There's something else. It's almost like the ham was soaked in a vinegar solution early and then cured, well smoked, and then glazed, and then baked. There's a crispness to the texture of the ham as your teeth sink through it.
Boat thinks to himself, my God, it's full of stars.
You have seen Valhamma.
For I have looked at the stars and touched the face of Ham.
The proprietor has his big, beefy arms crossed.
No, they're
in
big
front of
porky
him.
arms, not beefy.
Porky arms crossed in front of him. They're just like, greased up and slick. And he's looking down at you, down his nose, and he watches as every pore on your body opens and sweat just starts pouring out, just reacting to flavor explosion. And he goes, "Yep. That ham might be the juiciest thing you have ever put in that mouth, and you're now the driest boy alive." Happens to everybody on that first bite.
I thought I was in the Boris Empire, but it turns out we came to flavor country.
I was about to say, you hallucinate Guy Fieri in an ermine cape and a crown.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
But he's still wearing the flame-printed shirt.
I must have this ham.
Yeah, well, I gave it to you.
Okay, well, I feel like I have to give you something in return for this.
Yeah, and I already said, whatever feels right.
Yeah,
Just pass it forward. Remember,
tell you what.
It took me 22 years to make that ham, so 22 years.
I'll tell you what.
My life. Originally for my son.
Boat reaches into his pocket, and he produces a red ruby-like gem, and hands it over to the guys. Like, no, this ham was so good. This is the only thing I have that even approaches the value of that. I won this years ago after an arm wrestling contest.
It's the arm wrestling gem.
It contains all the power of all the spirits of arm wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
If you have this, you can never lose an arm wrestling match. Think of the power that can bring to your hand as you swinesmith going forward.
He looks at you and he's like, man, when I saw you walk in that leotard, actually drifting, with your feet not touching the ground, hovering a few inches above the ground, float into my shop, when the ham bell droned, I thought, this is a man not only in need of a very exquisite ham, but also who has no way to pay for it. I looked at you, I thought, that this guy, there's no chance that he has anything that even remotely comes close to what he needs, but I'm gonna pay it forward, just like somebody paid forward it to me. And he pulls back his ham frock, and you can see that he has a glowing gem pinned there. And he pins yours right next to it. He closes the ham frock. You get one last glimpse of the two gems gleaming, and he looks at you and he's like, "From this day forth, you're like a son to me. Come in anytime. I'll always have ham warm and well seasoned."
Boat sticks out his hand so they can do like a predator handshake kind of thing. Just a real understanding between two men.
Yeah, there's a really greasy slap since your hand's so sweaty and his is so greasy. And it's just oil and water. Just the hands can't even really grip each other. They're just sliding around. It's making this noise. Ham master.
Yeah. Boat takes the plate of ham. He's like, Can I get like a box for this?
It was already being served in a little silver bowl tray thing.
I don't want to take the man's bowl.
Yeah, he hands you just one of those little tiny cardboard boxes.
Mm-hmm. Like a takeout box?
Yeah.
You just slurp your ham inside.
Mm-hmm. Slurp noise. All right. Well, good day to you.
Yeah, make sure you seal that box with the cork top.
Cork noise.
No!
Ham noise.
No?
It's a cork made of ham.
What? No! No! I hate
It is
pork noise.
You step outside and you see that the place is called Cork Pork.
That sounds like a Morkborg variant. Cork pork.
Cork Pork with the umlauts.
Yes.
Cork Pork is the Morkborg variant where you play the Swedish chef from Muppets.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that just be Bork Bork?
All right. You have acquired the world's most powerful ham boat. What are you going to do next?
I'm going to walk back out into the cold morning and maybe just go on a stroll through the market district.
All right. You do so, wandering through the market as people set up their stalls. And as you wander through, snacking on your swine, you have the same feelings that you guys had before when you came through the market. There's this tension in the city, this anxiety, this stress, this fear. People sweep even the dirt on the ground around where their stalls are, desperately trying to make everything pristine and perfect. Everything is laid out with just their finest wares, and everyone looks over their shoulder a whole lot. There's a feeling that everyone around you is holding their breath. Even though you've spent some time here, and you know that some of you have done good, it doesn't look like anything's changed yet. The city is still very much under the thumb of fear.
Is there a bench or anything?
There are a couple. They're stone,
Okay.
and one of them is set up near a fountain.
Okay. See, in the Boris Empire, I would have expected that they use lots of hostile architecture for their benches. So, like, do they have spikes and stuff on them?
Nope, they're just normal benches that one could
Okay.
take a nap on.
Okay. I'm gonna go sit down on the one next to the fountain. Have a snack now and again as I just sit and people watch peacefully for a little bit.
Which is going to bring us Johannes. You find yourself sitting in one of the cells underneath the palace. Though, unlike the ones that you can very distinctly smell deeper down, you're kept in one that is clean and dry and warm. Not comfortable per se, but you've slept in worse, especially on the road. What are you doing to pass the time right now?
Oh, I've got my portable checkers set out, and I'm playing checkers against a pile of dirt that I've used my spit to mold into a small gravy boat looking opponent.
Gross.
And I'm like, haha, king me? What do you mean that you're the only king in the ring? This ring right here happens to all be, we got a rink that's full of checkers. Well, you can't drop an elbow on a checker, but you could drop another one of my pieces on top of that one because it's a king.
As you are having this conversation, you can feel sort of a presence outside the cell, and you can hear, have you been talking to yourself this whole time?
I feel a presence outside my cell. Is it you?
The clump of dirt?
No. Michael.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's good. Hello. Good morning.
He's going to kind of slide open the little viewing window bit in the door. Have you been talking to that clump of dirt this entire time?
Well, I don't know if talking at or conversing with or dynamically challenging the structures of the universe would be the right way to explain it, but something along those lines.
Truthfully, I don't even know where to start with that. He's going to open a small flap at the bottom of the door and slide a tray through. There's a hot mushroom soup and some crusty bread and 2 large cups of water.
Whoa. What kind of soup we got?
Mushroom.
Ooh, I know a guy who knows a guy who would really like this.
I wasn't going to feed you what the other prisoners are getting.
Oh, what are they getting?
Not as good as that.
Ooh. No mushroom for you. Well, it definitely smells bad, I can tell you that for sure. And by it, I mean this room and all the rooms below me that are wafting up through this grate where I sometimes hear people scream.
Yes, that sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to kind of cross his arms and lean up against the door. So, level with me. I know we're all mortal enemies and going to murder each other, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But why are you doing any of this? I'm curious.
Well, because if you don't keep practicing checkers, then you're never going to become that good at it. Just like anything in life.
I meant the whole metallic dragon thing.
Oh, what about them? Those are the good ones. Wait. No, those are the bad ones.
Why are you trying to bring him back? Why are you part of this whole...
I take it back. They're the good ones. I want to bring them back.
Why are you trying to bring back the dragons?
Well, because because of the Alita wants to.
That's it. Some girl showed up, went, I want to do this, and your response was, okay, let me go on this long journey.
Yeah.
That was all it took.
Yeah, of course. Because during the long journey, there was all sorts of trials and tribulations and challenges and not even some just straight up not fun times. But during all of that, there was also lots of great times and fun and laughter and picnics. And occasionally we would even make, silly jokes. And then a person would laugh, and then everybody would laugh collectively, and then one would laugh a little too long, and then you'd be able to make fun of them for laughing too long, and then you'd be able to, tell that joke to another group at a campfire at a later point in time, over water and food, and through this, you become friends. And then when you're friends, you do things because your friends want to do things, because you're gonna have fun doing things your friends want to do. And so, yeah, that was the start of it. But now I even want to do it more than I did at the beginning. Kind of like checkers, actually, because the better you get at it, the more you want to play. Because you're like, whoa, I got all these new strategies. And I've got the same thing, except with friendship. I feel like I'm a friendship betterer now. And it's more fun.
So you've had quite a good time on this death-defying journey.
Yes. There's been, like I said, it's had its ups and downs, proverbially and literally. PU, sewers, not fun, very low, quiet, and smelly. But, at the end of the day, I never really had any friends, which is something I figured out during this journey. And now I've got so many, I can't even count them all on both of my hands, which have 10 fingers.
Michael is going to be silent for a moment before taking the little slot and closing. You can hear his footsteps walking away. We're going to cut back to you, Boat. You've been people watching for some time, and what have you been searching for in them?
Just trying to imagine everything that everybody else is going through. Boat maybe is monologuing to himself in his head, sort of loosely, like, we all just live inside our own heads, looking out of our eyes, and are so concerned with everything we've got going on for us. And it's funny to think about everybody else having that same experience. And, look at that person walking past the fountain, or that person coming out of the hat shop. Like, they've had a whole life of experiences that have led them to that point. And the choices that they made have, whether directly or indirectly, cause them to be right here in this moment at the same time that I was. And who knows where the rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of their life is going to take them. It's just, we all live together in this world, but we're also so walled off from each other. Not really understanding what anybody is going through.
The day begins to sort of eke along as you eat your food and muse your musings. Is there anything that you want to make sure you do before the evening falls?
I'd like to have a really nice early dinner.
You just finished eating the world's greatest ham, and your first thought is no more food.
Well, I've had the turf. It's time for surf.
Venturian's mostly landlocked.
Are there rivers?
Yes.
Well, fish live in rivers, so I'll have river fish.
If only there was a scroll of fish scrying.
Mm-hmm. I could find the best fish.
That's called a fishing rod, Alex.
Ah, yes, a fishing rod. Okay, no, add another to Moonsy's barrel of stupid magic items. The fishing rod. It conjures fish.
Is it a wand that lets you fish?
Yes.
It's a wand with a string tied around it.
A non-magic wand that just does fish.
The rod of fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
All right, are you going to try and reconnect with your friends or the ones that are not currently?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably make my way back to the hotel, see if there's still some coffee. I might be able to sort of top myself off.
In the late afternoon, you make your way back to the inn, only to see Alita and Solinar with a small piece of paper sort of hunched over the table, muttering to each other.
What you guys got there?
We're trying to figure out the plan.
Okay, what are you thinking?
Solinar's been better at this than I am. My current plan has been, sneak in through window, club Emperor upside head, steal crown, run.
Okay, that could work. That could work.
It's like the foundation of a plan. It's missing some key elements. I think we talked earlier about going in as servants. I think that's probably still a good idea. We really want to get a lay of the land, so we're probably going to end up being servants for at least a couple of days while we figure out where are things, how do things operate, how do we get around, where does the Emperor take his baths, like those sorts of things. Because, you want to catch the crown when he's not wearing it.
I don't know that we have multiple days to pose as servants.
I don't think we're gonna figure out exactly where everything's laid out and guard patrols and all of that stuff in a day. I guess it'll take longer than that. And we also have to make sure that we make enough time that once Boat gets Johannes free, that the two of them can get in after us.
Mm-hmm.
Boat, did you have any ideas?
I really don't. I'm not sure if I have a really constructive idea. I don't know if I have anything better than what you all have or anything we've discussed previously, like sneaking in through the sewer or, the plan to go in as performers. It would probably benefit us to do some reconnaissance on the palace from a distance and see if maybe we can figure out either a way in or the kind of people who are getting in.
But I don't know that we're going to get a lot of opportunities for distance reconnaissance, like the palace with the big walls and all of the stuff going on around it. Like, we're not going to get a good look at much. That's part of why I was thinking we get in as servants, then we scope the place out. I think we'll have a pretty good idea of how things are operating by the time you and Johannes get in.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't know if you've got the time to, sort of like what Alita was saying, I don't know if you've got the time to really get in there and really sort of understand what's going on.
I think we'll manage. It's going to be tricky, but we'll manage. We always do.
Okay. It's all up to you. It's all up to you, friend.
Look, it's no rat suit in the kitchen, but we're gonna make it work.
Yeah, I think I still have that clown suit if you want it.
If we were going the entertainer's route, maybe, but you might want to hang on to that so that you can go the entertainer route on your way in.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Hey, I'm gonna run upstairs for just a little bit. What's our plan for the rest of the afternoon?
I wasn't really thinking of much. I was just wanting to plan and get everything ready. I assumed that everybody was preparing so that once you get your confrontation and we regroup with Johannes, we can use that momentum, cut in, get crown, escape somehow.
Okay. All right. Well, give me about an hour. I'm gonna run upstairs, then I'll come back down. I can help you guys do any planning, and then maybe we can get ready and get going.
Okay, that sounds like a plan to me.
Okay. Boat retreats from the scene and heads upstairs. And if the camera were on him, he would, walking up the steps, he would walk into his room. The camera would stay outside the door would shut. You'd hear a chair. He'd sit down, and you would hear the sounds of a quill or a pen on paper.
Good evening. I have been told that I should thank all of our patrons, which give us our dark and powerful energies. I would like to extend our thank yous to Andrew Lay, Caribou Puppy, Dorothy, Haley Dennis, Sarah Lavender, and Stephen W. I wish you only the spookiest of times, and be sure to eat your vegetables.
Is this Thanos collecting infinity stones under the guise of a swine smith?
Yeah, the ham stone and the arm wrestling stone. 4 more and he can remake the universe.
Okay,
Closes
hold on.
his
No.
ham frock.
No, we're not scooting past that bit.
Opens his
Brandon,
ham
what are
frock
the
back
other
in.
stones in this Infinity Gauntlet? If there is the
all right.
ham stone and the arm wrestling stone.
All right, so we need something that's kind of like the mind stone in that case. So it'd probably be something that represents like quick wit or something.
The
So
pun
maybe
stone.
The pun stone. That's what I was going to say. I guess the ham stone would be like, no, the arm wrestling stone would be like the power stone. The ham stone would be, I don't know, the reality stone, because it's very earthy and it can turn ham into whatever ham you want. The soul stone. What would be a good
The soul
equivalent?
stone would be the ham stone.
I think we actually named all of these at one point. I think one is the top ropes, one is the grapple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But ham wasn't part of that.
Yeah,
So
but him spiritually pulls them all together.
it's just
Ham is
Here's
the
the
soul
gauntlet.
stone of the
Yeah.
the mix.
yeah. Listeners, please Instagram us your suggestions for the ham and wrestling based Infinity Gauntlet.
The boat gauntlet.
Yes. And if we get a 3D printer, we'll make one and then you can buy it.